This video is about to get very surgical.
Straight up. Everybody a thug till them lights pull up. And everybody got a gun until ICE pull up. A middle finger to the president, cause I ain't too impressed. How the fuck you kicking niggas out? Ain't you niggas guess? So it's death to an ICE truck driver.
I think we need to have a really important conversation, okay? And before we get to the actual context of that conversation, I want to lay out a few things. Number one, Isaiah Rashad is gearing up to release a project. Probably within, I don't know, but it's got to be very soon, right? The irony is, I had tweeted that I wanted new Isaiah Rashad music like 2-3 days ago, and the rollout for this project started the next day. Like, that was just fire to me. I'm like, look, like, I really wanted Isaiah Rashad music, and the fact that we getting it ASAP is tough. You feel what I'm saying? I'm super excited for that. But with that being said, right, Isaiah Rashad has secretly, in my opinion, I don't want to say secretly, but just like quietly, one of the best catalogs in hip hop. Like, we talking about Sylvia Demo, right? And before, let's scratch Sylvia Demo first. Let's talk about the Pieces of a Kid, right? It's not an official project, but it's a compilation of all the singles that Isaiah Rashad was dropping prior to signing with TDE. Classic stuff. Like, I'm talking, when I was hearing this stuff, I'm like, bro, this is one of the best artists I've ever heard. Ever. Since then, right? You fast forward to Sylvia Demo, which in my opinion is a classic mixtape. I think it's one of the best mixtapes of all time. And this is going to sound crazy for a lot of people. But, bro, even in the comparison of comparing that project to other TDE projects, bro, I don't know if there's a mixtape that Kendrick got that's better than Sylvia Demo. I gotta be honest. If we're not including control system, I don't know if there's a mixtape that long term and all that. I don't know if those are better than Sylvia Demo. Sylvia Demo's better than Habits and Contradictions to me. Like, Sylvia Demo is one of those. Sylvia Demo is better than 1999. Sylvia Demo is better than a lot of the mixtapes. Sylvia Demo is better than Friday Night Lights. Sylvia Demo is better than a lot of the stuff that was coming out during the blog era in mixtape fashion. I'm just being completely honest with you, bro. That's just my opinion. Nothing but bangers, nothing but slappers, nothing but you got the deep quality content. You got the speaking to real situations in real life, real introspective music that he puts in a way that nobody's able to put it. Authenticity within his music, vulnerability, and the ability to make something catchy, all in the same cycle. All in the same cycle. And he can fucking rap. Okay? Then we move on to the Sun's Tirade. Immaculate project, right? The House is Burning. Amazing project. I think it's the worst out of the three, but another fire project that I think he was focused on people dancing and stuff, right? But this is a guy who has put in his work. You feel what I'm saying? Has put out amazing, amazing projects. Now, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the situation that happened, right, a few years ago. I can't remember what year it was, but there were some videos that came out that was showing Isaiah Rashad doing some very, some wild stuff, right? And not wild in the sense of like, oh, why would you? But wild in the sense of like taboo for the public. You feel what I'm saying? When you see a celebrity engaging in sexual activity on camera is one thing, but seeing him do it in a way that you wasn't expecting is another thing. I think a lot of people were shocked by that, right? And because of that, it started this whole wave of like disrespect towards Isaiah Rashad and his catalog. And that's what we want to talk about right now. That's what I got to get into right now. Because even I had homies who was like, oh, I can't listen to him no more. And it was all they wanted to talk about for like weeks. And it's like, my nigga, what is the obsession with this? I don't understand the obsession with this. Like the rewriting of history of his entire catalog when you just love this artist because he has a sexual identity that you didn't expect. I don't really understand that. So we about to get into this conversation right now, and it's going to get deep. You feel what I'm saying? So let's do this. So I made a tweet, and I said, Isaiah Rashad is about to wake a lot of you niggas up. And instantly we get the homophobia in the comments. Immediately. Bruh, he be swallowing hog. It just don't hit the same. Niggas swallowing glizzes in 4K. Ain't nobody trying to listen to that. But pause. Nah, no, he not. Nobody but the LGBT community trying to hear that. With Morning Head, same dude that was on. You feel what I'm saying? Like just all this different stuff that is related to just poking at his identity sexually, right? And my whole thing is like, you know what I'm saying? Like right here, I got no problem with him being gay. Frank is gay. Tyler is gay. Boom, boom. But after seeing bro do this on cam, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the part where I become confused, right? And this is why, like, in reality, bro, I just love music. That's one thing, like, I think I want to display more on my channel. You feel what I'm saying? Just how much I genuinely love music in general. But hip-hop, and not just hip-hop, like, just good music. I don't care what genre it is, just good music. Just the other day, I just found out that Spooky Black is now going by Corbin, and I went to go check out his music, and he's probably doing way better music now than he was doing back then. That's not hip-hop, but I love it. You feel what I'm saying? I just love good music. I love abstract music at that. Okay? My thing is this, right? When you love good music, and I think when you love just humanity in general, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you gotta love everybody, but the ins and outs, like the intrigue about humanity and the behaviors of humanity and all these different things. I feel like people who have that type of curiosity about humanity automatically are just interested in all aspects of it, right? I don't want to close myself off to a portion of humanity or whatever. Not saying interact, but like just to, why wouldn't I want to hear your level of expression? Why would I, even if I don't identify with that, right? How am I supposed to understand this thing without being open to hearing the expression of other types of people, right? And I feel like in music, right, it's almost like closing yourself off to, for example, Eve's Tumor. I love Eve's Tumor, right? I love Eve's Tumor. Their music is amazing to me. And I think that their identity adds to that, right? Their identity helps craft the authenticity of that music, like being able to enter that world, a world that I'm not used to from a musical perspective. It's like when white people, right, who ain't never had no connection to nobody in the hood, boom, boom, nothing like that, when they listening to black music, right, it's a different reality for them. It's an alternative reality to them, right? Now, how you engage with that is up to you. But even though I'm a heterosexual male, right, I don't think there's anything wrong with me sitting down and listening to somebody that's gay or bisexual or transsexual or whatever it may be. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of the times you hear the different tones, the different phrases, the different outlooks on life because of these identity branches, right? And I think when you close yourself off to that type of music, you honestly closing yourself off to a whole different expression of humanity. In my perspective, right? And that's where I start saying, why would somebody's sexuality change how you interact with their music? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this goes for everybody, right? When I hear R. Kelly, I can't really listen. Look, when people say, oh, I'm not mad at people who still listen to R. Kelly. That's just me. I got to be honest with y'all. I'm not one of the people that's like, hey, you listen to R. Kelly? I'm not one of the people. But I will say, listening to R. Kelly for me is uncomfortable because who is he talking about? A lot of his music is directed at women in sexual manner. So in my mind, I'm like, who is R. Kelly talking about in these songs? You feel what I'm saying? That's why R. Kelly's music is uncomfortable for me to listen to, right? But when we're talking about people who aren't doing anything, right, immoral, it's like, why does that matter, right? Now, some people think homosexuality is immoral or whatever, but my whole thing is, if you think homosexuality is immoral and that's why you can't listen to Isaiah Rashad, then why in the same sentence are you defending somebody like Drake? You feel what I'm saying? Why is that something where Drake has a history of being into younger girls? You feel what I'm saying? Now, how you feel about that is how you feel about that. If you don't care about that, you don't got to care about that. I'm not sitting here trying to force you to oh, you can't listen to that, boom, boom. But the hypocrisy is showing. Because you don't have a issue with that, but you have an issue with Isaiah Rashad and his sexual identity. It's just confusing to me, right? Since when? Now I understand the bravado, the masculinity, I would even say at times the toxic masculinity in our communities is what adds to this perspective of how black people typically, right, treat gay people. Now, all black people don't do that, because there's gay people, there are gay black people in these communities, right? But when you look at it from the perspective of overall, right, if you're from the projects, if you're boom, typically these are the things you hear. You see a lot of homophobia. You see a lot of transphobia. You see a lot of phobias in general, right? And I think a lot of that comes from being closed off to other perspectives and other realities, right? And how you go about that is different. A lot of my family is the same way, right? I'm not judging them because of that. It's just something that I'm noting. Now, when it comes to the music, what does that have to do with the music being produced? What does that have to do with the music that's being produced? I'm confused. Is Isaiah Rashad talking about homosexuality on Sylvia Demo? No. Is he talking about that on The Sun's Tirade? No. So in my mind, I'm like, why do you write off all of this music because of his sexual identity? Now, I don't know about y'all. That happening to Isaiah Rashad makes me more excited to hear the next album. Maybe that's just me. You know why? Because I get to see what his mindset is now. What is his perspective? Being exposed like that to the world, right? How did that make you feel? What were you experiencing? What was the feelings that you went through, right? I'm not saying Isaiah Rashad had to come out and tell us this, but when did you start to feel like that? Have you always been this? Is this something that just happened when you went into the industry? When did this happen? You feel what I'm saying? When did you notice this? You feel me? Where does this stem from? Like, I'm not saying Isaiah Rashad got to talk about all of that, but even from the perspective of him openly being this, openly owning who he is, how does that alter the music? Right? If Isaiah Rashad is stepping 100% into his authenticity, what are the parts that he was blocking off about himself that now has the opportunity to transform the music in somebody who was already extremely talented? You don't think we're going to get better music now? Now that he has to be him fully in front of the world? Yes, we're going to get better music now. Yes, we're going to get better music now. And not only are we going to get better music, we get to look into the psyche of somebody who was exposed in front of the world for something he probably didn't want to go out there. And on top of that, exposed in a way that was incredibly harmful, disrespectful. In my eyes, really, whoever did that, unforgiving. You feel what I'm saying? So from that perspective, it's like, how could you not be at least curious as to see how that affects the music? You feel me? Now, if your answer is, I ain't gonna lie, if your answer is my answer, I don't know. What if the songs that he was talking about this and he's talking about dudes? I mean, I guess, right? But I'm just more about, if you liked him before and you loved the music before, why are you so strongly attached to his sexual identity in order to decide if you like the music now? Now, I know a lot of people just trolling. A lot of people just don't like what's going on with TDE and are using that and using the situation in order to attack Isaiah Rashad. But there are also people who love TDE and don't fuck with Isaiah Rashad no more. I know them personally. And one thing I've always wondered is, how does the sexual identity now make you completely opposed to listening to the It's like, bro, once again, I'm not mad at anybody, right, who still listens to Kanye. I gotta be honest with y'all. I'm not mad if you still listen to Kanye. I'm not mad if you still listen to Drake. I'm not mad if you still play R. Kelly. I'm not mad if you're still playing these guys. Do I still play Drake, R. Kelly, Kanye in the same way? Absolutely not. That's my reality and my preference. right? And I'm not going to try to force you to do the same thing, right? But at the same time, it's like, if you can overlook everything that Kanye was doing, how the hell can you not overlook somebody who is just experiencing their sexual identity? I don't get it. I don't get where that line just gets blocked off. I don't get it. I don't get how people are able to, like, I just don't understand that. The homophobia within the community and the homophobia within the hip hop space is, you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's something to be, and this is going to be controversial too, it's something to be condemned. I got to be honest, right? And I think a lot of that is because I have a lot of family that feels that way. I grew up in a reality that was that. Whether it was my homies, my family, wherever I went, the homophobia was just the norm. It was the thing. You feel what I'm saying? So I see these people and I see their hearts and I see where they really are. I see that they still got love in their hearts. But this is the reality and the environment that they were in they were succumbed to, and therefore that's how they view the world. So I can't look at them and say we should condemn them for that. I just can't. And if you can, that's okay. Do that. But as somebody who has that empathy for all walks of life, I just can't condemn people just because they view the world in that way. But at the same time, I can acknowledge I don't view the world that way. Right? When I was young, when I was a kid, I viewed the world that way. But as I grew up and was able to see my own perspective, I stopped viewing the world that way. When I started to have friends who were homosexual, friends who were bisexual, friends who were transsexual, or boom, 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 all these wide different spaces that I've been in, right? Friends who move in an androgynous way, friends who, all these different things. I got to see these things up close and recognize, bro, everybody human. Everybody human, and the walk of life that you choose to walk is up to you. It's between you and what you believe in, right? But I've built very powerful bonds with people who are bisexual, who are gay, who are trans. I've been powerful bonds with these people in these walks of life. I've built bonds with, I would like to say, really all walks of life, right? So when I look at it from that perspective, I'm not gonna condemn people, right? But I will say it raises a motherfucking eyebrow. Why is homosexuality such a line, like a line that's drawn so strongly for so many people? But then we don't look at this other stuff as lines that should be drawn. I don't understand it. You know? So with that being said, that doesn't change the music. Good music is good music, man. Good music is good music. And that's that. You gonna tell me you're not gonna listen to a generational artist, in my opinion, in Isaiah Rashad, somebody who, in my opinion, has the potential to be the best in the game. I think he's one of them guys. He has that type of talent to be the best in the game, right? To consistently deliver quality after quality after quality after quality after quality. I just don't understand how that gets in the way of the music. How? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, bro. You can't take away Sylvia Demo because Isaiah Rashad might be bisexual. You can't say, and I say might because I don't know what he identifies as. You can't say, you can't take away Sun's tirade because he's bisexual. You can't take away the house is burning because he's bisexual. You can't take away his ability because he's bisexual, man. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Okay? In reality, this is a walk of life, and they exist in our skin tone as well, bro. They do. You feel what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, a lot of people hide behind the fact because of the religious aspect of it, but that's not even your place either. That's not your place either. You feel what I'm saying? And we all humans. I judge and criticize too. Look at how much I criticize people on my channel, something I'm trying to do less of. You feel what I'm saying? But a lot of times when I'm criticizing, it's in the defense of hip hop and the rules of this thing. And the people who are trying to demean those things and undermine those things. But I also can learn to criticize less, judge less, and have a more neutral space when it comes to judging the music. But if people are outright challenging these rules of hip, I gotta openly criticize it. I have to. Right? But when it comes to how people are just choosing to live their personal life, that doesn't affect you, my nigga. That doesn't affect you. Isaiah Rashad being a bisexual does not affect the rules of hip hop. It doesn't affect the rules of the culture. It doesn't affect none of that. Isaiah Rashad is still as much of the culture as anybody else, regardless of his sexuality. And he's still delivering amazing music. I would argue that because he's owning up to his sexuality, this is probably about to be the best version of him we've ever seen. I love that Doechii is bisexual and can display that to the world. I love that. I love when Doechii goes on Hot Wings and says that in her perspective, you know, whether it was a joke or not, the red flag is straight men. As a straight man, I love that. You know why? Because I love human expression. I love seeing humans express themselves, regardless of the walk of life that they choose. That's why I love TDE. That's why I love these artists, Isaiah Rashad. I don't love Isaiah Rashad's music any less. If anything, when that happened, I didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't care. I just did it. Because Isaiah Rashad has still made amazing music that helped me get through hard times, regardless of his preference. When I was a teenager listening to Sylvia Demo, you know how much perspective and game I was able to walk away with, an understanding. Isaiah Rashad gave a lot in his music. You feel what I'm saying? His sexual identity does not change that for me, bruh. And I will be championing this album. You feel what I'm saying? If it's not good, I will say it's not good. But if it's amazing, I'm gonna say it's amazing. I don't give a damn if he's bisexual or not. I don't. I really don't. And I think the music is gonna be great. And I think this is just another arc that Isaiah Rashad gets to go on. He gets to be the representation of people who are afraid to be that in front of the world, who are afraid to be that in their communities, who are afraid to show up that way in front of their family, in front of their friends. Isaiah Rashad gets to be the representation of that now. That's a flag he gets to carry on his back, a burden he gets to bear for the other people out there who can't do that. What's better? What's stronger than what is that's a calling. That's a calling. That's a calling on his life. You feel me? That's just my perspective. I know some of y'all gonna disagree. I might even have some unsubscribers. But that's okay. I'm expressing myself too. And you disagreeing with me is you expressing yourself. And that's why I invite disagreement. Shout out to Isaiah Rashad. I'm super excited for the project. Super excited for what he's about to deliver. And I don't care if he's bisexual, whatever he is. I love the artist and what he's able to bring to the game. As a straight man, bisexual man, whatever he is. You feel me? That's just my perspective. Thank y'all for coming. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. We will be reacting to Isaiah Rashad's album when it comes out. Super excited. You feel what I'm saying? Hopefully we get some Kendrick feature on there. I would love another Doechii track. I would love Schoolboy Q. I would love all the TDE members on there. I would love it. Who represents all the dynamics of TDE better than Isaiah Rashad? Let's just be real. Who does? Nobody. Not even Kendrick. Nobody represents all the dynamics of TDE better than Isaiah Rashad. And I'm excited. Y'all have a great day. Y'all make sure y'all pull up to the Patreon. My next reaction to a Jay-Z album is coming out in a couple days. You feel what I'm saying? Also anime content coming up on there. Ace of Diamonds just came out, so I'm about to start the anime page. I've been waiting on Ace of Diamonds. I'm probably about to make that video right now because I'm about to watch that anime. So, yeah, man. Y'all get the Patreon. Make sure y'all check out my music. You feel what I'm saying? Show love for your boy. Real hip-hop to the core, to the fullest. You feel me? I don't just talk this shit. I rap this shit. You feel me? Real talk. All the elements. All the elements you can think of. You feel me? So make sure y'all check out my music too. I will put the link tree in the description and in the comment section. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Even if y'all disagree with me and you don't rock with Isaiah Rashad because of this, fine. But I love hearing everybody's perspective. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to catch y'all, man. Y'all have a good day, all right?